So today's video, you're joining me on another section fault, but I've had a quick look at it there. It's not a section fault, there's just 3 columns in this wee street over in Annie's sort of area. And it's just 3 single darks. 2 of them are 135 watt socks fittings and 1 is a 70 watt post op. So I'm probably going to end up breaking this video into 2 parts for you. One of which is going to be changing one of the 135s over, because I've already done one off camera, and the other one is going to be changing the 70 watt fitting over, just because it's a new fitting that I've got to show you there. Before I go any further with this video as well, apologies for the audio on it, or my voice anyway. I'm dying with the cold, and it doesn't help that today's the first day that the snow's hitting Glasgow, and sorry if you can see any sort of glare coming in for there, but there's not much I can do about that. So we'll go out just now and I'll give you a wee look at what I'm doing. I'll do my usual. I've already got the power switched on here, but pulled my fuses for the specific columns, but I'll give you a wee look. Another reason for doing this video is I can't remember if I've installed this type of fitting before. I'm sure that I have shown it on the channel, but I can't remember if I uploaded it or not, because it's one of my least favourite fittings to work on, for a couple of reasons which I'll show you. And again, this type of fitting, we're originally only using them as 55 watt or 90 watt equivalents, but now we've been given 135 watt equivalents, and to me there doesn't really seem to be any difference. So I'm led to believe, or I'm told, that it's the internals, the gears or the electric drivers that are different, but I just take that at face value. So this is my job here. So I went ahead and fixed that one there, and it was just taking down one of the style of 135 watts, exact same. So I've pulled my fuse. I'll put this door back on and I'll take that fuse up with me, just obviously so that there's no accidents. That's my 70 watt post op, but that's probably going to be a separate video to this, just because of time and stuff like that. And that column there is where my box is, so that's going to be my feed column, but I'll take these and show you that box once I'm done here, because I'll need to go and switch it off. Right, so that's that door back on. I've got the fuse with me. I'm going to put it in the bucket there. Again, excuse the mess, but I've been doing quite a few jobs today. Some would maybe argue that this isn't best practice, I should go and isolate it, but I'm satisfied that the fuse is out here, and I'm going to be working here, so it's not as if anybody's going to then come and put another fuse back in or anything like that. So this is the type of fitting here, so it is a, what is it, Thorn fitting. Again, I'll show you the proper code for it, or the specs, if you want to call it that. But again, I can't remember if I mentioned it in another video or if I even uploaded that video yet, but one of the things with these fittings is pretty much everyone that I've worked on, there's issues with it. So it's just that wee latch there to put that. So straight away they're quite footy to work on. And there, you'll be able to see that, look. See that exposed copper, and that's my switched live. So that's just potential exposed live parts in here, straight away, straight from you. So I'll obviously sort that out. And then the other issue with these ones, like most of the fittings nowadays, is like this is the bracket for it. So we used to get them pre-installed, but I think it's saving a few pence, so we're now having to install them, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. And then once you've got that on, it's an absolute nightmare to get your flex to do, so you're having to take up a bit of flex and use that as a draw wire, but it just makes the job that bit more of a nightmare, and obviously delays you a wee bit. It's just another thing that just slows you down. But I'll stop rambling, stop moaning, and we'll go on with this. Right, so as you can see, that's me got my wee bracket on. And it's set at 0 again. That's what I've been instructed to set these at. Pretty simple, just to pretty simple, just day 2 in there, and we're good to go. So I'm going to get myself harnessed in here, and we'll start getting up in the bucket. Hopefully this one comes off. Hopefully this 135 watt comes off. These are a wee bit touch and go. That one actually came off not too bad. I'm hoping I don't need to hammer it off because I've got a big 7 Series BMW next to me. I don't really fancy hammering it off just in case anything falls down, but we'll deal with what up there and go on with it. There's a few wee points as well I'd like to address before I go up in this bucket. Firstly, so obviously some eagle-eyed people probably spied that wee hole there. Just to stop any of the comments, I've had I've spoken to the sort of people in the know and the people in charge, queried that they're saying that because that's not a structural part of this bucket, it's only sort of thin fiberglass, that it doesn't weaken it in any way whatsoever, because there are some buckets out there that these bits are all completely missing and it's just the actual frame. So that's point number 1. Second point is that it's maybe more so for my own benefit, not that anybody's particularly mentioned it, from watching some of my videos back, just to sort of see what I can improve on and see what I can change and this and that and the next thing. I've sort of noticed that it never really looks like, or some of the videos you can't really see that I've got my harness, but trust me, I've got my harness on just in case anybody was ever wondering what that's about there. I'll see if I can spin this round. But got my harness on. I've just to sort of tighten it up at the sides there, but you can see I've got my harness on. Just to address that, because obviously I wouldn't be taking any chances with that, because at the end of the day, this job isn't worth risking my life for. So I'm always secure my harness in. And the third point is it's more just to reach out to one of the subs in particular. He'll know who I'm talking about. He's obviously censored from YouTube quite a bit, but I've reached out to you sort of in the comments, and you know that I'm not ignoring your comments, but a lot of them do seem to be getting deleted by YouTube. But you know who you are, Andy, and I'm not ignoring you, just in case that's what you think. So upon further inspection, I think it's quite fitting that I'm taking down a Thorn and replacing it with a Thorn. Although I've been doing this for quite a few years, sort of between this and domestic stuff, I do sometimes still get a wee bit mixed up with the fittings, because I've dealt with so many fittings over the years and all the sort of product names and models and all that sort of thing. It does get a wee bit confusing, but I thought I'd sort of show you that. But for taking this down again, I'm sure I've shown this type of fitting being removed on the channel before, but it's just these 2 wee screws here. That'll give me access to my flex and the grub screws, and we'll see if we can sort of get it loosened for there. If not, it's getting hammered off. Again, I'll only be able to show sort of each stage as I go, because I'm doing this on my phone again, because I just don't trust the GoPro. Right, so with that removed, again, so with that removed, what I tend to do is I just snap that off. I've been in a position before where you're sort of up here shaking that about and that goes flying off, and obviously could scud somebody's car. So but looking at these grub screws, again, I don't know how well you can see them, but they look seized. That doesn't look promising, but I'll see what I can do about getting them off. Right, so I hope you can see all this in here, but I'm not going to plan So this one came out no bother, but you'll probably not be able to make that out, but right sort of in the middle of where my thumb is, you can see a wee crack there. As soon as I try to loosen that grub screw, it just sort of split and it's no turning. So I've ended up hammering it and it's loose now, but what I generally always do when I'm going to hammer a fitting off is I'll remove as much of the guts or the internal sort of stuff as I can, for obvious reasons, just in case it goes flying, because I've hammered them before and lamps have smashed and visors have come off or clips have come off and went down and either like just narrowly missing people's cars. So the main thing to take out in this one is that gear tray, because that weighs an absolute ton. I was going to take that off, but it started moving, plus there's not really any weight to that and it's solid. So that'll slide off now. So I'll slide that off, take it into the bucket and let you see that. So again, sorry if there's any glare here, but that's obviously, you can see there I've got the fitting in the bucket. And fuse is obviously out, so no concerns about just snipping these. And again, I'll try and do this one-handed, but what I like to do is, you can see that's water go down that pole there. So what I generally do is just sort of double that back on itself, and then it's not going to want to go down that pole, and it just lets me sort myself out here in the bucket, get everything set up and ready to go. But again, that's just another wee tip if anybody is ever going to sort of do street lighting for the first time, and always keep an eye on this flex, because it just naturally wants to go down that pole and it's an absolute nightmare to redo it, especially obviously when it doesn't need done. So the next stage, look, I just noticed that there, look. Right, so the next stage in this is feeding my draw wire through it. I've just sort of got a decent bit of length on this one, as you can see there. And I've just put my wee rubber seal on the top of my TRS gland just there now for safekeeping. So what I'm going to do is butt the two ends of these up together, tape them, and then obviously just sort of pull it through and mount my fitting. Alright, but I'll get that bit on because I can't do that one-handed, and I'll show you when the fitting's mounted. So I just thought I'd show you that. So that's the two ends butted together and taped on, and then it's literally just going to be a case of pulling that flex. Obviously one hand can sort of pull it, one hand can hold the fitting, and then sort of pulling enough of that through so that I can set that on. Obviously anybody that's an electrician or sort of done anything like this before will know exactly what I mean, but that was just to sort of show people that maybe don't know and they've just got an interest in the street lights. That's the fitting now mounted. Same as most of the street lighting stuff, just a couple of grub screws. These are the 4mm ones, which is another thing I don't like about these fittings. I just think 4mm is just a wee bit flimsier. I prefer the 5mm. As you can see there that I've got my gland on, and you can see the wee rubber insert there as well. Don't worry, I've not left the flex that short. I've just pushed a lot of it down back into the column, just to make it sort of quite neat in here. Terminations in there, so it says on it live Nutria, I'm sure you can see there. When I put that wee bit on, you see there's no single insulation shown. Understand we're 8 metres up or whatever it is, and it's inside a fitting and all that sort of stuff, but I'd still rather not have, for my benefit anyway, any single insulation on show. So I'm obviously going to I'll sort that, I'll double check all the connections, but I'll sort that, obviously put that on And then it's just going to be a case of closing this over, putting on a short plug. But again, I'll show you all the wee bits. So here's the finished article in here then. So like I said, I've got that on now, no single insulation on show. What I've seen quite a lot is when I'm coming to even sort of repair some of these, some folk are just bringing the flex round the back here and then there, which again is, I suppose technically there's nothing really wrong with it, but it's the cable entries might be by this point, so I'll always just put it in there. Obviously I've tightened that's on. I've pulled all three of them out and redone them, but it was only the white switched live that was terrible. But like I say, I've installed, I'd say easily about 30 or 40 of these over the last few months, easy 30 or 40, and near enough every one of them has had at least one of these conductors with copper shown, which I think is totally unacceptable for this standard of fitting, because Thorn's a decent make. It's not as if it's cheap rubbish, but what can you do? I've already highlighted this as well, and they still seem to be getting them in. So for closing this over, probably one of the only good things about this fitting is it's literally just that wee clip there. Brand new short plug, and on these it's the neutral that's always the biggest pin out of the three of them, so you can't go wrong with putting it on. And then it's just a case of pressing it down a wee bit and twisting it clockwise. You just sort of push it down and twist it clockwise in the same motion, and it just turns a little bit, and then that's that all secure now. So we'll go down, put this fuse in and make sure it's working. So I've given this fuse a check off camera and it's fine. Obviously I've just opened that door back up, and as you can see, that's that lit. So I'll obviously screw them back up. I still need to obviously clean my bucket out, but I'll just take the fitting, I'll leave my tools in it because I'm literally just going to be going over there. That's that screwed up. Again, it's so difficult to do this one-handed. Right, it's not going to happen one-handed because it's just going to go on sort of squinting. I'm going to damage the thread, but I'll get that door back on. And then I'll even give you a look at inside of one of these fittings so you can see the specs on it. As mentioned, here's a 135 watt on my left hand side, and here's a 90 watt on my right. Just be looking at the gear trays. I'll let you guys obviously sort of pause it and have a proper look through it. So there's a 135 watt and there's a 90 watt. Obviously I'm not seeing too much difference here at the minute. The only thing I can see is on that sticker, so this is a 135 watt, that's saying it's a 55 watt. Yeah. And on that one there, that looks like 53 watt. So there's 2 watts of a difference on these, so I really don't see how they're going to be a suitable equivalent to 135 watts in particular, but again, I'm only putting in what I'm getting told to put in. But I thought I'd just show you that. And then we've obviously got a 55 watt SOX equivalent version of these as well, and I can't remember, I think they make like 36 watts. I'll go and have a look in the van just now and I'll see if I can find one. So I couldn't end up finding any of the 55 watt equivalents of these, or sort of what we're led to believe are the 55 watt equivalents, mainly just because I'm using the ASD style, the wee tiny ones. I think it was one of my last videos. I'm using them because for as much as they're a bit of a nightmare to work with, they're a wee bit quicker just because they're much lighter and all that sort of stuff. But just on the subject of what I was talking about up in the bucket, complaining about these fittings and the standard of them. Right, so this is just the next two that I grabbed. And look at that. So that's the neutral. And then there's the permanent live. The copper shown, right, so that's on the 135 watt. And then look at the, you can see you can see that just copper shown there. That's just not good enough. I'm going to raise this again with the people in charge, because we're going to end up getting faults in these by then. Look how close they are together. They're going to end up touching and shorting out or something like that. It's just not good enough. So that's me just clearing the bucket out now. I'll leave these here on this one. This is going to be, I'll either just make it like a 2-part video, probably just because of the length of it, and the fact that I'm showing 2 different types of fittings. But look at that. Safe to say the lamp was probably the issue in this one. Usually they go that sort of cloudy way there, but it'd be interesting to know why they go that mirrored black way. But so that's a 135 watt lamp. Right, so I'll stick this in the back of the bar and leave my tools in it because I'm going to go over and do that other one.